Hi everyone and welcome to French Watch Collector. Today on the bench we have a bit of a challenge. You can see we have a watch which is in pieces. Actually it's a watch from a subscriber. It's a Tudor and you see the watch, it's in different steps. So I think the subscriber tried to work on a watch but he did not succeed in fixing the watch. And we can see we have a beautiful Rolex case from this vintage Tudor. A crystal that will not be very useful. You see the state of this crystal, so obviously we'll have to find a brand new one. And I have a few boxes there with some parts in it. So let's see what we have there. Okay, looks like we have a few parts and we have the hour wheel. You see like a dial spring here, a couple of clamps. Looks like some screws from some dial fit screws. Okay, so yeah, we have, I don't know why that sits in this box, but yeah, gonna put that aside, just check we have everything. We have another box there. Wow. So we have a set of hand there. I don't know why there is two sets, a gold and a black set. And look at the state of the balance wheel. Oh, that's not good at all, yeah. I'm not sure this is fixable because, yeah, his hairspring is in a very, very bad state. So we see what we can do about it. And the last one, looks like we have the third box with the caliber in it. And let's see if we have... So first we have a crown here with a winding stem. Should be a Rolex crown, yeah. Yes, it is. You can see the Rolex sign. And that's why nice about this vintage Tudor. You see that they have like a Rolex case, Rolex crown. And a caliber. Gonna check. We have a screw here. Don't know what is it for, but we put it aside. And a caliber, we're gonna check we have all the parts in it, nothing is missing. And what we're gonna do, actually, we're gonna fully disassemble this caliber. We're gonna do a restoration, but obviously this one is a very strange one because the watch is already in pieces a bit. So we're gonna fully disassemble the caliber. Starting by removing the cannon pinion there with my Presto tool. You can see there on the movement the Tudor 17 rubies, 17 jewels. Gonna place back the winding stem on the watch. And we go just placing it back. And just to check that there is no power. Yeah, actually was no power in the watch, but it's always safe to check because obviously if you work on a watch with power in it, you can damage a lot of the movement during the disassembly, so that's why it's safe to remove the power. And look at the amount of oil that there is underneath. And the palette fork is fully red on top. Actually, it's oil. Wow, I never saw so much oil on a part. Yeah, that's crazy. And look at the hair there as well. It's a big hair there. Okay. Gonna disassemble the rest to check if everything is okay. Wow, again, the amount of oil that there is, you see, like it's fully submerged in oil. Okay, checking the air, all the parts. I'm just gonna clean some oil because with the Rodico, because that's too much, yeah. Obviously, we're gonna disassemble everything and put the parts through the cleaning machine. All the oil and dirt will get removed during the cleaning. Just a click there. Remove the bridge. Be sticky there, but yeah, here we go. And underneath, just gonna change the train of wheel. If everything is okay, the end shake. Oh yeah, you see that it was a piece on it. Doesn't move that freely actually, yeah. Which is not good. And again, look at the oil. That's not good because too much oil after on a watch. Again, the purpose of the oil is to do a lubrication of all the parts to run smoothly, but if you have too much, you will actually stick the parts together and you will do the opposite. So you want to add some oil on some point, like on the watch, but not too much actually. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm removing the train of wheel bridge. There we go. And I'm removing each wheels. And underneath, you see we have another bridge here, which is keeping in place with the center jewel. There's a center wheel. I'm just going to remove it. If you want to come, yeah, it's quite sticky to remove. Like, there we go, perfect. And here we have the center wheel. Okay, so now I'm going to move on the dial side, where we have the keyless work. Just removing this screw here. And that's it. We can remove all the parts on the keyless work. So we have this plate with the 2 little screws. We can see the Tudor sign as well on this side of the caliber. Removing the minute wheel again. You see it was very sticky with the oil underneath. Too much oil again. And the rest of the keyless work with the setting lever spring. You see, again, too much oil. So yoke spring there, which I'm removing very safely by keeping it in place with my plastic probe. And the rest of the keyless work. Okay, so gonna put like the last few parts aside. Just gonna remove the jewels. And I love this shock spring there on these watches. Like this kind of clover shape. And you just do like a quarter of a turn, even less. And you can open them. Just removing the cap jewel there as well for the escape wheel. Just trying to grab it with some Rodico, but oh, again, the oil underneath is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna rub the jewels there with a piece of wood. Probing the jewels there. There we go. And you see the oil there again on a mainspring, on a barrel assembly. Just gonna open it. And yeah, actually it's quite clean inside. Just removing the barrel arbor, and we should be able to take out the mainspring, but yeah, again, it's very clean inside, so I don't know if it's a new mainspring or if it has been cleaned, but yeah, it looks quite good. So probably can reuse this mainspring. Just to finish, to remove the cap jewel there on the bridge where we have the escape wheel. Just gonna use some tweezers there to remove. There we go. And you see, oh, the jewel came out, it looks like. We'll see that later. And okay, I'm gonna detach the balance wheel and the hairspring there from the cock there. And yeah, because actually I have to replace it. I cannot save. It's too much damage. Just gonna remove the jewel there just to clean it. And we see if we can source a new balance wheel with the new hairspring for this caliber. Actually, I will tell you a bit later, but yeah, one good news about this watch, is the parts don't cost too much money, and I will explain you why. Okay, so now I'm gonna put all the parts in baskets, and we're gonna clean them all. Because we saw like they were not that dirty, but actually was too much oil on the parts. Yeah, and all of that need to be removed. And obviously we're gonna reassemble them together again and put the proper oil and the proper amount of oil to make sure the watch works the best way when it's fully assembled. Okay, so now we're gonna clean the watch. First, we're gonna put them in a cleaning solution, and then we put them through 2 rinsing solutions just to make sure they're perfectly rinsed. And we will finish by drying the parts. But I would like to use this opportunity to tell you that I have a Patreon page. So I would like to thank Yann, Philippe, Roger, Matt, Christian, David, Shelby, Yann, Ruth, Christian, Cornet, Ellen, David, Tony, Steven, John, Tim, and Gregory. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting my channel. And if you want to support the channel, I will put a link down below for my Patreon page. You can go there and subscribe to one of the plans that would mean a lot to me. And as well, if you did not subscribe to the channel, you can click on the subscribe button, click on the thumbs up if you like the video, so like that you will get promoted, and click on the bell icon, so like that you will get a reminder as well every time I put a brand new video. Okay, so now the parts are fully clean. We're gonna do first, we're gonna do an epilam treatment on some of the parts. Basically, the escape, the pallet fork, and a few jewels. What this treatment is gonna do is gonna help the oil to be retained like on the spots where I put it. The oil is not gonna flow if you want. So that's why epilam is used on some of these parts. And you will see them, we're gonna oil some of them straight away and some a bit later. And you see there, I'm putting a drop of oil on a cap jewel there that I just treated in epilam, and the drop of oil that I'm putting is staying right in the center. It doesn't slide, it doesn't, on the surface. And now I'm just putting the chaton back on top. There we go. Just gonna do the same thing on the other one, because obviously there is 2 jewels on the balance wheels, one on the balance side and one on the dial side. And again, I'm just gonna put the chaton back on top, keeping the drop of oil right in between there. And when it's done, gonna place them back obviously on the watch. I'm gonna put the first one on the dial side, and I'm gonna close the spring there, which I said I really like. It's very easy, this one actually. Doesn't jump, doesn't do anything. Just pop it in, and like a quarter of a turn, that's it. Secured. Same thing on the other side. Bit trickier to do there because obviously we remove the balance assembly, the balance wheel and the air spring. There we go. Again, we saw that the mainspring was in nice condition. So what we're gonna use my winder set from Bergeron, where I'm gonna rewind the mainspring. So we put it in this tool there. Just by turning, I will rewind the mainspring in a shape to put it in a barrel. So this is a manual watch. So you see we have a hook at the end there. We need to press it in. There we go. Just gonna put some grease inside the barrel just to make sure the mainspring is nicely lubricated, and we reduce the friction to a minimum. And we're gonna reintroduce the mainspring. Perfect. Place the barrel arbor back in the watch. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. You need to be very patient there because the spring is strong. I'm just putting some oil. I put a tiny too much oil there, you see. And I'm just gonna close now the barrel using this tool, like this nice Orotech tool there. Just gonna press on top here like a sandwich. If you want, just press it down, and that's it. The top is closed. and the main spring barrel assembly is fully and ready. I just place back the jewel there, and we can start to reassemble the watch. Starting by the center wheel there, you see I just put some oil where I'm gonna put it there, where you go in a center jewel, center hole. Yes, there is no jewels on his watch in the center there. Just go the same thing on the top. See a tiny drop of oil with my automatic oiler. And we can place this bridge. Okay, you saw it was missing a jewel. Actually, a jewel fell out from the bridge of the train of wheel. And what I'm going to do there, I'm going to use a special tool just to push back the jewel in position. So you will see there where we have the hole. See the hole there where we have the jewel that need to go in. So I'm just check first that the size of the tool that I'm using is correct. And I'm just going to place the jewel. It's very, very, very small. There we go. Just placing the jewel in position there. And now with this tool, with a very fine thread on this tool, I'm gonna press it down. And you see there, just try to put it in position. Here we go, perfect. Now I can press it down inside the plate. Very good. Okay, so now we have to check when we put it back together if with the handshake on the wheels everything is okay. And actually this jewel was for the escape wheel, the wheel that I just put in place right now. Gonna put like the other wheels. This one need to have a drop of oil there where it goes, because it will go inside, like you see, through the middle of the other wheel. And now we're gonna put the bridge and see if everything is okay. Just press it down very gently, just to make sure like each wheel find the pivot point. You see there, here we go, one, find the pivot point. Gonna just put the escape here. And when it does, you see all the wheels are turning together. Perfect. Just gonna secure it and put it in place. And we'll just put a drop of oil again right in the center there. And you see the oil doesn't move where I put it. That's again, that's the epilem treatment that we done on the parts. And I will just put it in position. And with this tiny screw. Perfect. And actually the escape, the handshake was proper, so we can carry on the assembly by putting the barrel assembly that we just reassembled, you remember? Don't forget to put this screw, because if you forget to put this screw, you will have to remove the bridge, because you have a shoulder on this screw and need to go before you put the bridge. And now I can put this bridge. I need to align on the hole there. Perfect. Okay, just tie now. Oiling, you see the point, but don't put too much oil. compared to what he was like submerged in oil. But yeah, we put like small amount of oil, you see, with my automatic oiler. And again, we put as well, we put different type of oil, different points, not always the same oil. We have a medium, a high, and a low viscosity oil or grease, depending on the application. There's a crown wheel. There we have a center screw, so it means reverse threaded. So you need to be very careful when you have a center screw on a crown wheel, because yeah, it's always reverse threaded, and yeah, if you unscrew it the normal way, you will ruin the thread and damage the watch. So that you need to be extra careful with this one. Put the click in position there. And the ratchet wheel. So yeah, it's coming, so far it's coming along very nicely. Just oiling the jewel there, you see, with a low viscosity oil on this one. And now I can focus on the keyless work. We're gonna first, you see, now I'm putting this heavy blue grease, so high viscosity grease. Oh, it just fall down there. Always tricky to put in a groove. You will see, need to go in this groove there. I really don't want to go. He really doesn't want to go in a groove. There we go. That's it. Can reassemble the rest of the parts. Just checking in which way I need to put the clutch here. And I'm gonna grease the stem here, different point. Perfect. And you see what's the beauty about this movement? Actually, you can see like 1156 Tudor. 1156 actually is the number of the caliber. And it's not a Tudor caliber, it's written Tudor on it, but it is an ETA caliber, actually. And that's quite nice on these vintage watches. You saw the case from this vintage Tudor, actually, they are from Rolex. And Tudor is part of the Rolex group and was already part of the Rolex group at the time. If you want, it was a cheaper version of the Rolex watches. That's why they were using an ETA movement and not a Rolex and an in-house movement. But actually what's nice on these vintage watches is if anything goes wrong, or if you have any parts broken, and we will see it a bit later on this video, the cost of the parts is like nowhere comparable to the Rolex parts from a caliber of this era. You will see some of the parts I'm gonna change. Maybe on top you will have like for maybe €100, $100 maximum on few parts, even expensive part or the most expensive part of the watch that you will have to change. But if it was a Rolex caliber, it will be like few, like maybe 300, 400, 500 euro for parts sometime, because they are so rare and so expensive on this vintage caliber. So yeah, that's what's nice about these Tudor watches. Obviously, being an ETA caliber, you will find plenty of parts, and yeah, they are easier to fix, repair, because he has the ability and the price of the parts. So yeah, that's quite a good news actually when you have a Tudor, and if you have anything broken, it will not cost you a fortune. After, yeah, it's not a Rolex caliber inside, but again, it's not a Rolex, it's a Tudor watch. But yeah, I found it a nice, very nice vintage watch to have, because yeah, you have a Rolex case, you have a Tudor and a Tudor dial, because we are really cool dial as well from these vintage watches. And again, you have a caliber which is very robust. Again, ETA is very, very, very nice calibers, and very easy to maintain and not so expensive to maintain. So yeah, they are very, very nice vintage watches. Okay, so now just finish to assemble the keyless work. Just checking if it's working. Yeah, it looks good. Just gonna put the palette fork. And actually, you see, it was a lot of oil on the pallet fork. You remember when it assembles the watch? And on these calibers, you should not put any oil on the pallet fork. And actually, most of the Swiss movement, they don't tell you to put oil on the pivot point of the pallet fork. And yeah, I don't know why it was first oil there and so much oil. That's not good, yeah. Just placing the screw here if you want, it doesn't want to go inside. There we go. Perfect. Just gonna put a bit of a wine on the watch. Now we put the pallet fork. I'm just gonna focus on a balance wheel now. And you see, I just bought a brand new balance wheel with a new hairspring. Very easy to find, like relatively inexpensive compared again. I say, like, for example, a Rolex, it will cost like probably 10 times the price compared to this ETA balance wheel. And I'm just gonna put it back, because yeah, you remember the hairspring was damaged far beyond repair. Even if it's probably possible to repair, but we'll spend hours and hours on this hairspring. And buying a brand new one is like probably more cost efficient to do it, because like I said, it doesn't cost that much anyway. Okay, so now that the balance is reassembled and in position, we're gonna focus on a hand. And the owner put two sets of hands, a black one and a gold one. And the black one is the original one, so I'm gonna put it back on the watch. But the our hand has no loom, and this one has a very old and broken loom. So I'm just gonna redo the loom on both hands. First, I'm gonna remove the old one you see there on the minute hand. Just scratching the old loom. Just need to be careful there because it's probably tritium, so it's not that dangerous, but you don't want to put it like anywhere on your finger or on your because on your mouth that can be an issue. But yeah, you just it's not that dangerous, but you need to pay some attention to it. Just gonna polish the hand very lightly with my tool there, just to polish, just to make them a bit shiny, even if it's not like gold or copper hands. And just gonna do the same thing on the other one as well. So the minute 10, a very gentle polish on it. And the last one, the second hand. Just gonna do the same thing, a very gentle polish on his watch. And I think next we can work on the loom and see how we can reloom this watch. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a white loom, so a white powder there. So that's why you don't see it in the. And I'm gonna add a drop of very, very, very dark coffee there, and it's actually to give the look. The patina look to the watch, because obviously if we put a green or white loom on it, it will look not genuine. So I'm putting this coffee there just to give it a bit of a tint and a bit of a vintage look. And I'm just gonna put a bit of extra loom there because it was missing. I guess it was a bit missing some, and I'm just gonna mix it until I get the right texture, and then we can apply it on the ends. So here we go. Now we're gonna apply it on our hand first. So we're just gonna always put it on the back side of the hand and just spray it over. Try to, here we go. I just put tiny bit too much there. Try to remove. And same thing on the minute hand. There we go. Just gonna let them dry for a few hours. And obviously we will check them when it's fully dry, and we will be able to put them back on the dial a bit later on. Okay, I just put our wheel in position. The dial spring there. And we can put the Tudor dial. See a few scratches on it, but looks okay. See the Tudor logo, the rose at the time, which I really like, this vintage look, and this vintage logo, and as well the font that they use for the Tudor Oyster there, Royal. Very nice. And you see I put the hand with this dark loom there. Put the hour hand first, and now I'm gonna put the minute hand, and I need to midnight. Perfect. And the second hand in position. There we go. Just checking that the hands are perfectly aligned, so when it's at 9 o'clock, it should be perfectly on 12. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the case. You remember the crystal was fully broken, so I managed to find, actually it was not easy on his watch, but I managed to find a brand new crystal. Bought it in Canada, so it came from far. So I put the crystal on the case. I just using there my press from Orotech, my custom press. You see my carbon press. Just pressing the bezel in position. Just gonna put a set of brand new seals and O-ring on the watch. So you see, being an Oyster, it's a Rolex case, so they use same seals than the Rolex watches. So you will have a seal inside the tube, on the crown, and obviously on a gasket on the back. So you see I put the O-ring inside the tube there. There's a gasket on the back. Just gonna blow and to remove some dust on the dial and on a case there. And I put this beautiful Rolex case. Actually, it's the first time I see this watch back in the case, because you remember when we got it, it was fully disassembled, and it looks nice. It looks very nice. I'm just gonna put again this seal inside the crown there, which is the way Rolex seals their watches. Just need to pull it all the way to the bottom here. We have this ring, this spacer ring there that keeps the caliber nice and centered inside the case. And I can put back the waning stem and the crown. And being a Rolex again case, it's a screw down crown, so I'm gonna screw it just to make sure it's fully in position. There we go. Gonna put the clamps. Remember that they came in this first box that I opened. Just putting the clamp just to make sure again, like the caliber will stay in position nicely inside the watch. And I'm just putting back the case back, and we're gonna close it with my custom tool again from Orotech. Beautiful tool. If you want to buy this tool, I put a link down in the description. You can go on a custom website and buy one of these tools. It's very nice, very handy if you want to open some of your watches or close obviously some of your watches. And you can see there using a Rolex tool. I'm just closing the watch, closing the case back. Perfect. I would like to use this opportunity to tell you that I have my own website. you can find the link down below. You can click just there on the top right corner where I will put the link for the website. On my website, you can go there and find some of the watch that I restored on the channel, and you can go and buy some of my watches. And as well, if you want to send me your watch for a service, like for example, this Tudor that I'm doing for a subscriber, you can go there and contact me, and I will be very happy to work on your watch. Just putting back the bracelet there. And obviously we're gonna see the final result on this watch. Just put it always for a few days on a winder, just to make sure the oil get in all direction. And after a few days, I will check the watch and adjust the watch, see if it's working perfectly. First, I'm gonna demagnetize the watch before I put it on a time grapher. And you can see on the time grapher, the watch is perfect. The bit error is a bit high. I will adjust it to get it below 1. But the amplitude is at 280, which is beating very nicely. The rate is at 0, so that's perfect. So yeah, we have a watch that was with a very badly broken balance wheel, which is working perfectly nice now. It's not in pieces anymore, and look at the beauty. Look at this beautiful vintage Tudor watch. So I hope you like this video, and I see you next time. Bye bye.